This is the first day of our 2-week trip to the Diocese of Kiteto and Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. We arrived last night, flying in from the UK to Dar es Salaam, and today we're going to fly in one of these aircraft to Dodoma, which is due west of here in the center of Tanzania, and then take a car journey for 5 or 6 hours to Kabaya, which is the headquarters of the Diocese of Kiteto. We'll be met there by Bishop Isaiah. I'm travelling with Richard and Jenny Worsfold from the parish of the Martyrs in Leicester, who've been involved in the link for several years. We hope to bring you the story of this visit and to help you imagine what it might be like to be a participant in the link and to play your part in this important companionship that we have with brothers and sisters in the churches here in Tanzania. And I hope you'll enjoy this story that we have to tell. We have been coming for 2 days from England, and we have been looking forward to being here for many weeks. The Diocese of Kiteto is a good friend of the Diocese of Leicester in England, and Bishop Isaiah is a very good friend of mine and of all the people in Leicester.
How to translate that?
Come on. Come on. Kiteto is a remote part of Tanzania where very few tourists visit and resources are scarce. We spent the week visiting churches and talking to pastors at a conference. Through talking to people and visiting the surrounding area, it became clear just how challenging life is for many people in this part of Tanzania.
I think the thing that surprised me most was when we left the town where we'd landed in the airport. I kept looking for rivers. They'd say, "Here's a river." And when we went over it, it was dry. And so I'd look for the next one and the next one. And each one was dry, and it eventually dawned on me that we just weren't going to see any water at all. We went to see a lake, and there were people washing in it, there were cattle in it, everybody was in it. And it was tiny. You could see that it had receded masses already, and that it wasn't going to last the season, so the people themselves were worried. Just isn't enough water for the people. It means they can't grow enough either.
Despite these challenges, Bishop Isaiah has an inspiring vision for the whole diocese that will help build a stronger future for the people of Kiteto.
Of course, there are a lot of challenges. But in this diocese, one of the biggest problems is education. Our people, many of our people, really don't know how to read and write. Our government schools, most of them are not good enough. They are not providing good education. So this diocese has the heart of helping at least some of the children to come to us in this diocese to get good education. So we decided to establish 2 schools. We have primary school and we have a secondary school, and we are planning to establish a teachers training college. So education is really a key issue to the district, to the community, to the people, and the church, we hope, can do better to provide good education to these people.
Kiteto College is a thriving school with a talented new team of teachers to lead it. But it needs some assistance to help it grow and meet the demands of new students that wish to be educated here.
Of course, we have now already established a primary school and we have dormitories, but because the number of children is growing, we are enrolling a lot of children to our school. Then the dormitories, we have about 3 children sleeping in a bed. So we are thinking of having a new dormitory so that we can move some of the children to a new dormitory. Let's say this one which we are using now can be used for girls and the other one can be used for boys. So at the moment, we really need the need for a dormitory is huge for us to have it as soon as possible.
And so as our week in Kiteto drew to a close, we were left feeling humbled by the generosity of the people that have so little and yet give so much. Our journey then took us to the Diocese of Mount Kilimanjaro. As we drove north, it became clear that we were entering a different Tanzania. A Tanzania which is growing and developing at a fast pace. This brings with it a different set of challenges that in some ways are familiar to our own diocese at home.
This diocese comprises of 3 government administrative regions where we have big cities. More likely they are westernized in many ways, or urbanized if you like, but we also have rural parts of these 3 regions. This diocese is the largest in the country. It has millions of people. We are doing census. We will know soon how many are in this diocese. Because of its geographical area, there are a lot of challenges and a lot of needs to be met. And we can say we are now geared to start churches in every area that we don't have one, or in new communities. The desire is to see that grow. In fact, I have this vision of 300 churches in 5 years, and we hope we can make that goal. One of the reasons is the church can bring light and hope in these communities, but also to disciple these people, and not only thinking about heaven, but also life here and hereafter.
Wherever we went, in this part of the country, we saw signs of development. Roads, churches and community facilities being built, and the infrastructure we're used to in a modern country. In order to meet the growing need for new churches as Tanzania develops, we're supporting Bishop Stanley's vision of developing new evangelists to plant new churches. But setting up a church in Tanzania is quite different from building a new church in the United Kingdom, as Richard now explains.
I've come to this as a pastor who's trained curate in the last few years, and I've had a particular interest in those who are the younger pastors and the younger trainee evangelists. And so I've spent some time talking with them about their hopes and about what it's like for them starting out in ministry, and things are very different for them. One of the ways in which we are committed to helping the Diocese of Mount Kilimanjaro is to support Bishop Stanley's priority of planting new churches in some of the emerging villages and towns that are sprouting up, particularly along the new highways that are being built. And one of those initiatives is to put evangelists in place in some of those new communities. And that involves moving them from places where they may have a farm, where they may have a livelihood, into a place where they have nothing. And so the intention is for a period of 3 years to support them with an income so that during that time they can build up a church and focus themselves only on that.
Visits like this, it lifts up the hearts of our people in this country, in our diocese. They realize we are not just left by ourselves out here. We have our brothers and sisters who share the same faith. And we can share in needs and in whatever we have. I believe we have our challenges, that the Leicester Diocese has a different set of challenges, and in one way or the other, the two can encourage one another. So the understanding of some of the issues we may learn because The world is becoming a global village, one community. Things that are happening in your diocese in Leicester, we will see them here. And things that are affecting us here will affect there. Besides, the church is one. Sin is sin in Leicester as it is in DMK. People are people. They all fall. They all need Christ. They all need encouragement and support. They all need moral support and emotional support and spiritual support.
I hope this short film has given you a sense of the delight and pleasure which those of us who were privileged to go to Tanzania felt in the company of our brothers and sisters in that country. Back in England, in the dank and greyness of a British autumn, those visits still inspire and uplift me. And I am more clear than ever before that the partnership between our dioceses matters so much for all of us. There is a real difference we can make. And I want you to think in your parish and your congregation of what God's asking you to do about this partnership in the days ahead. As a diocese, we're committed to two particular contributions. First, to building the capacity of the Kiteto Christian College on the campus in the heart of the Kiteto diocese, building the capacity of that school to train and educate a rising generation of Tanzanian citizens. And in the Diocese of Mount Kilimanjaro to support the Mungwishi Bible College so that really high quality training for the next generation of clergy can be provided for their leadership and their service of their communities. Please think about what you can do in your parish, either to feed those who have not enough to eat, to support the education of those who can't afford it for themselves, or to help build the churches and enable them to serve their communities more effectively. If you want to know how you can do this, please be in touch with the chair of our link committee, Rt Worsfold, whose contact details are on the screen now. Above all, please pray for the Diocese of Kiteto and Mount Kilimanjaro, and pray for their inspiring new bishops, Bishop Isaiah and Bishop Stanley. We have so much to receive from them, and I think much to give them too.